Okay, so branding. This is my favorite section in the course because, in a sense, it's the most difficult for me. So getting it out on paper and presenting it really even helped me understand things better. Pretty much branding is everything other people think about your company, service, or product. And you have to take steps in order to try to control that in order to make the best impression you can. So even though you're doing everything, it's really on them to have the experience. And that's why it creates a certain amount of insecurity in a lot of people. Perhaps the most important aspect of starting a business is developing a brand identity that works. I wish somehow everyone could just know I'm good at my work and sincere and determined to create a quality product. But you can't just say it, you have to be it. And it's difficult, it's hard, and I don't think even branding professionals will tell you that it's hard. So they see your logo, they see your consistency, the name you choose, the reputation you're trying to build based on quality. At the end of the day, as I've said already, quality is the key ingredient. Create extreme quality, and it will make the rest of the branding process much easier. Somebody might say, wow, they gave me something worth having. And I knew it would be based on their brand representation. And somebody else will say back, wow, that's great, how can I find it? Well, let me tell you the brand name. That's how they're going to find it. They're going to find it based on the name of the company. And once they arrive at the website or the social media, they're going to notice the elements of brand, you know, how they're consistent across your platforms, your messaging, how similar is what you're saying to what you're showing, your logo, how professional does it look, how good are your photos. And you have a phone number, and answer the phone. Answer the phone when somebody calls you. It is, I don't know, in my mind, it's the most important thing I can think of. I can't tell you how many things I have not bought because when I reached out to the company, they didn't say anything back to me. They have a little thing in the corner that says message us, and so you message them. You wait there for 5 minutes while it says searching for a representative, and then nobody ever answers, and it says we'll get back to you later. It's like, no, you won't. I won't be there to take your call, you know. So consistency is key in both presentation and performance. Branding is the creation of an identity for products and services that has meaning to the customers. So it really comes down to what does it mean to them. The elements of branding include visual symbols, you know, your logo, your office design, your packaging, this sort of thing, the color schemes that you use. For instance, if you have a color scheme on your website and then they walk into one of your branch locations, it's a good idea for them to see the same color scheme, not something strange. You know, it demonstrates a professionalism. You know, and then your values are something else that's part of your brand. The product and service quality. Do you value a high quality product or the best priced product? Oftentimes they're not the same thing. In fact, I think almost never. The service quality. Do the employees greet you with a smile, or do they act very reserved, which, you know, for some type of companies is a good thing. How people treat you when you walk into a jewelry store is different than how they're going to treat you when you walk into a pet food store. It's a different attitude, and that's all part of your brand. If the diamond salesman comes up to you very friendly, that's different than if he acts very careful and reserved and almost above it all. Both of them work in their own way, but it's just for a different reason. And then your reputation. So other people have had experiences with you. What are they saying about you? You cannot control it. You can ask them to say nice things. In fact, a lot of times asking them to say nice things is a good idea. It's like, hey, could you remember to leave a nice review on my videos or on Google for me, or tell your friends, or fill out this this customer response that we can publish online. The customer experience is sort of the same as reputation in a way, because customer service leads to reputation. Style of communication, is one thing. Probably the best I ever encountered was when I contacted Chinese manufacturers on Alibaba. It's so different than what Chinese reputation is in the media and when, this sort of thing. But when I contacted factories about producing things for me, or if I wanted to buy something in bulk that I could later sell, dealing with them was the most red carpet experience I could imagine. They're extremely polite. They answer you within minutes of your email. You can click send on an email and you get a response before your very eyes. Like, they're right there to receive it. They're extremely polite. They will bend over backwards for a few cents profit. And part of the reason is because they want that few cents. But then another part of the reason is if you'll buy a little bit now, you might buy a lot later. So when somebody just buys a little bit from you, just puts their toe in the water a little bit, be as gracious as you can be. Be grateful for that experience, not because it's so wonderful for your bottom line now, but because it will lead to a bigger sale later. It's part of your branding experience. And recognition and awareness in the market is also important. So if you can try to win awards, that's a good point. This restaurant has a Michelin star. This car company won Auto of the Year something. This clothing brand was featured in Vogue. This movie won an Academy Award. All of those things are part of the brand of the studio or the designer or the manufacturer. So there's three types of branding. There's personal brand, there's product as a brand, and then there's company or organization brand. And so the good example of this is the Michael Jordan Shoe Company. Well, Michael Jordan is a personal brand. I am Michael Jordan. I'm a great basketball player. I have a product. Now, Michael Jordan shoes are actually manufactured by Nike. And so Nike is an example of a product as a brand. Michael Jordan is part of Nike. And Nike, let's say, sometimes is sold on Amazon. Amazon doesn't manufacture its own products, but they have a company or organization that is a brand name. So Michael Jordan is sold by Nike. Nike is sold by Amazon. Amazon markets itself. Maybe Amazon sometimes will say, yeah, we sell Nikes. Or they'll say, hey, we got new Michael Jordan shoes in. But it's not the river flows more one way than the other. Michael Jordan to Nike to Amazon. Or to Foot Locker or to Sport Mart. Your brand is especially your name. Your name choice is the foundation of your brand. It is the starting point. You can develop a reputation around your name as good or bad. So be careful with it. And this is true for people as well. When I take an Uber taxi, that guy, however he wants to treat me, cannot escape from the fact that I can go to the application and leave a review on his name. He will never be able to get away from that. And I think anybody can learn, whether they're an employee or just a friend or just any sort of professional. It is, develop a reputation around your name because people remember it. And people might not remember exactly what you said to them, but they will always remember how you made them feel. And there are actually a lot of benefits to consciously crafting your brand as an individual, as a product, or as a company. Being a brand gives your company a way to recommend you to other people. So, hey, did you see those new Nike shoes? Oh, no, I didn't. Let me go look at those new Nike shoes, you see. If you have a product, branding allows you to differentiate yourself from the places that sells it. Yeah, I have this coffee brand called Ryan's Coffee, and we sell it in Starbucks. It's not Starbucks brand coffee, it's Ryan's brand coffee. And maybe you can also buy it at Costco, or maybe you can also buy it on Amazon. But we do sell it in Starbucks. So my brand differentiates me from the places that sell it. Branding helps you stand out in a saturated market. There's a lot of people that will sell tape or, let's say, shoes or something simple, but Nike shoes are Nike shoes, not generic shoes made in China, or not generic tape made in some generalized factory. This is 3M tape. It's a better quality. It leaves the roll correctly. It rips correctly. They've done all this research into the chemistry of their product, so it's their private information, and they use that to back up or to solidify their brand name. Branding helps you stand out in a saturated market, that's right. Branding gives you credibility. When you have a brand, people assume you're just better. You took the time to do branding. It's just another leg of your professional approach. In fact, it's probably the main leg. It is your main foundation. With a clear brand, you can charge what you're worth. If you make a great shoe but don't put a brand on it, you're not going to get more than, let's say what a generic shoe sell for, $50 a pair. But if you have a brand that has a reputation, suddenly you're getting $150 because it comes with the promise of past experiences, name recognition on the street, trust. That's what really comes. There's a trust in your brand already, so you can just charge more because there's value in trust. It's the same with your friends. You may be new to the school and nobody knows who you are. You may be the best friend that there is, but nobody trusts you yet, so they're not going to tell you secrets. They're not going to invite you to private parties. But when they get to know you and they trust you, suddenly new opportunities begin to open up. That's part of brand. And I think young people especially would really benefit from learning about brand as early as possible. Because branding leads to customer loyalty. I go to the shoe store and I have a favorite brand and I immediately look for those. I go to the grocery store and there's a certain brand of pasta I like. I go for that. I don't even notice the other brands of pasta around it because I've already made my decision. I buy pasta every week, and unless it's gone, I buy the same pasta. Now, if it's not on the shelf, that's an example of poor values in branding. So I'm interested in trying a different brand of pasta, and maybe I'll switch now. So if you're a good, well-run business, you won't let that happen. Branding equals consistency. That's consistency in quality. When you go to the restaurant and you order your favorite dish, it always comes out looking the same way, tasting the same way, the same portion. It's consistently delivering a memorable experience that you remember, that you can expect. When you open a can of Pepsi and you taste it, that's right, that's what Pepsi tastes like, I remember. And you don't want there to be fluctuations or variations. That's unprofessional. Branding helps you attract your ideal customer, ideal clients. You want to get the guys who play basketball, so you advertise to basketball players. You put Michael Jordan on your shoe. They recognize Nike, Michael Jordan shoes are for basketball players. They know it. I play basketball, I want this shoe. I'm not going to go to Brooks Brothers looking for a basketball shoe. Now, if I'm looking for a luxury shoe, I'm not going to go to Michael Jordan. If I'm looking for a shoe for church, I'm not going to go to Michael Jordan. I'm going to go to Brooks Brothers. I'm going to go to Bass. I'm going to go to Gucci. All right. So, branding your business will save you money and time in the long run, because you're not constantly trying to reconvince people of something. Coca-Cola spends as much money as possible on advertising, even though they're already control as much market share as they will ever control. You're not going to get people to buy much more Coca-Cola than they're already buying. They're a fully mature company. But they got to keep their name out there to maintain that level because it's big. They have a big piece of the pie. And if they were to fall off and not advertise for a long time, you might not think to buy it. And before you know it, you might forget about this product altogether. Stores are become less interested in carrying your product into the future because you're not doing the advertising work, you're not doing the branding work. The place that sells your brand depends on your brand just as much as you do. Branding will give you confidence in your business. I'm a brand. I am a brand. I stand behind my brand. It creates an identity. It creates a flag under which your team can operate with a whole deeper sense of meaning. Established branding will make it easier to introduce new products or services. This is the new Nike shoe. This is the new McDonald's item on the menu. This is the new movie from Paramount Pictures or something, from this movie studio. And then, branding gives you a clear strategy moving forward. Knowing where you've been helps you understand where you're going. You've developed sportswear for this amount of long time. What are you going to do in the future? Probably sportswear. It's clear. We already built a brand around this. Let's not start creating something else. Nike's not going to start making furniture tomorrow. Unless it's for the swimming pool or something like this, I don't know. But the branding process is subtle but obvious. Do a good job and make sure people know you did a good job. That's it. Here's some steps. There's your branding pre-work. Step 1, define your values. What are your values? Define your mission. I am Nike. My mission is to put my clothes on every athlete in the world and maybe to get it into some streetwear. I want kids in the street to wear it. And maybe I want, really, what else would there be? So who are you? What is your story? What are your beliefs? Your conviction, your principles, equality, social justice maybe, winning. This is the gear that will help you win. This is the gear that will make you look the most luxury. This is the food, this is the most healthy, the most quality. This is the safest car. These are your values and your principles, and you decided them before you made the thing. As we talk about over and over again in this course, it's why have you made this? What is the reason? What problem are you addressing in the world? You want to say that in your messaging, as part of your messaging. Kylie Jenner, this famous social media person, made the cosmetics company. She made it because she was insecure about her appearance and she couldn't find products that fixed it for her. So when she was induced to develop her own products, these are the questions she asked herself. What makes me insecure? I want better lips. So she made a product, or she worked with a team to create a product that solved that problem for her. And that's the best way. It's a problem for me, probably it's a problem for you. Okay, so step 2 of branding pre-work is understanding your customers. You want to, like I say over and over again in this course, conduct effective market research and user research. What do they think of these colors? What do they think of this logo? What do they think of this slogan? Do they like your commercials? Maybe make a couple commercials. Which one do they like better? Split test. Don't just jump into any campaign that will invest months in the wrong direction. Step into it slowly, test it, get feedback, listen to the feedback, accept what you hear, open your heart. You don't have to be right all the time. What's valuable is that you're willing to do it, not that you always make the right decision. And, how do your customers perceive you? You hope they perceive you as first wanting to do a good job, actually caring about what you're doing, not just trying to make a sale and get away with it. It matters to you to deliver this product in a quality way. How do customers view your brands compared to others? Hopefully better. Hopefully a better value maybe. Superior. Choose a brand name that delivers your message clearly. We talked about this in the Picking a Name just recently, and it's not so easy. Most of the good names have been eaten up and will cost you an arm and a leg, but find a name that represents what you're doing and advances your brand in somehow. One hot tip is to create an emotional connection. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in your name, but it could definitely be in the commercials and advertisements you put out, demonstrating a problem that other people can connect with. I once saw a commercial about a little boy whose mother was mad at him for making a mess. He's hiding under the table, and then she says, "Oh, it's okay." She wipes it up with the paper towels, and it's nice and clean, and he doesn't get in trouble, and who can't relate to that? We've all been in a situation where we made a mess as a child, and now it needs to be cleaned up. So when I see this commercial, oh my goodness, this product is the solution for that, it touches me very deeply. Connect with people's childhood. The third step of branding is determining where you fit in the big picture. Focus on a unique value proposition. Who is your competition? Know who they are, and so you have to differentiate yourself from them. What makes you stand out from the crowd? Maybe quality, maybe luxury somehow, or the lowest price. When I go on eBay looking for something, or I go to the store looking for something, I notice what's the highest price because I assume that's the nicest thing. But then I also see what's the lowest price, and I ask myself, how much do I get for my money? So those are the two questions. Maybe I take the middle one because I assume it's a balance. Where do you want to be on that spectrum? And then once you've decided that, you cater to that population who agrees with you in your messaging. You want to deliver consistent communications. And you want to be known for quality no matter what. If you're a product that breaks, there's no point in buying it. Do you offer a service that your competitors don't? Let me think. For instance, if you own a fast food restaurant that has a drive-through window and the other competitor across the street doesn't, people got to get out of their car and go inside, where they can also come inside of your business. You are going to win some customers who don't have time, who just want to stay in their car. Maybe they're on the phone, maybe they're looking at something on their iPad while they're waiting in their car. They just don't want to get out. It's a hassle. You're going to win those customers, and you differentiated yourself. Maybe the guy across the street has a little bit better tasting food, but you made it more convenient. So this way you can both go in your own direction and survive. And you're not interested in the guy across the street's survival. I'm just saying, pick a way that's different. Put some resources in that direction. So, direct action, decide what it is, decide what you want your brand to be. I want my brand to be seen for the best quality, therefore do it. Do it. Make a decision about how to actually do it, not just, I hope they see it. I hope I can produce something good quality. I'll talk to my team about it later. I can't even think of what indirect action sounds like, to be honest. It's just, you have to make a decision about what your brand will be, because if you don't, it will be something, and probably not what you want. Mediocre at best, or bad. If you don't make branding decisions, you probably end up kind of with a pitiful business. I'm sure you've all probably been in a crummy motel before. They didn't make a decision, and they ended up paying for it. They can charge less money, and you're less likely to want to come back. You're going to put negative reviews on the website where you booked your reservation, because they only cared about giving you a bed. They didn't care about your experience that much. And you want to bring everyone under one flag. You want your team to be involved in the brand. Usually feeding them a little bit of money for success is a nice idea. At Christmas, give bonuses. We've had a good year, here's some money. Or, hey team, you're going to get this much percentage of sales. Really? Let's do this. A successful brand has to be consistent in communication and experience in an environment. When you walk in, wow, I know this place. Print and packaging. Your logo is on the package. What you say on the package is the same as what you say on the website. Website and online advertising, keep that consistent. Content marketing, social media. Seems like social media should have come first, but anyways. Sales and customer service. You want all that to be on the same page. So you decide your messaging before you create it, and your messaging goes to each place the same, the same, the same, the same. Remember, when you're launching your branding, sooner or later you will stumble upon reality. And that's kind of what I just talked about with Crummy Motels. The brand image will be the result. It may not necessarily be what you expected. You may put a reputation in somebody's head that you didn't expect, and they're going to talk about it, and it's going to be what it is for them. Maybe your staff was having an off day. Maybe you had that rude employee who you now fired, but there's a couple of customers who are never going to forget it. So maintain control of your brand awareness. It's a key. Stay up to date on your public perception. And finally, some tips. Be distinct. Stand out amongst your competitors and catch people's attention. I could talk about Donald Trump and how he does his branding, but I think maybe not. Be memorable. It makes a visual impact. Consider Apple. The logo is so memorable, they only include the logo, not their name, on their products. You know what it is? That's an Apple. Apple computer, Apple iPod, Apple iPhone. You know, because they branded it. And you know when you buy that product, it's going to be a leading version of that category. You want to be scalable and flexible. It can grow and evolve with the brand. That's why you don't want to pick a name like Auto Parts if eventually you want to start a hardware store with it, or call it a clothing company if eventually you want to sell camping gear with it. It could be an outdoors company instead. Brand it correctly, or you're going to have to change it. It's not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's fresh. Clothing company becomes outdoors company, and it's like, wow, it's the same name, Timberland or Abercrombie, but now it's more, it's broader. Cohesive, each piece complements the brand identity. We've talked about this again and again throughout this entire process. Consistency, the same, the same, the same. And easy to apply. It's intuitive and clear for designers to use. Your color scheme is clear. They know exactly what the colors are. Your logo is clear. Be easy on your design team. Market your brand. Once it's established, once it's all set up, just get out there and tell people about it. It's much easier once you've done the legwork to get it set up. You want to personalize and be consistent.